Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Impact on Air. My name is Candace Faber. I'll be your host today. And this is the third session of our Impact on Air series featuring social entrepreneurs from around the world and specifically the Impact Hub Network. Today's session is going to focus on poverty alleviation. We're very excited to have three enterprises with us today. By sheer coincidence, all of them working in Latin America. We have two enterprises based in Mexico that both approach community development from a business perspective, and an enterprise in Bogota, Colombia, that we think fits a little more squarely with the sharing economy. So we're very excited to share this with you today. I want to say a few words on this session about what Impact on Air is and who's hosting it. You've probably seen that this program is being brought to you by Google, VentureScale, and Impact Hub Seattle. Our goal is to discover great innovators from across the Global Impact Hub network, highlight them for other members, and help connect them to each other and to resources that can help them grow. A big part of VentureScale's mission is to help social enterprises grow to scale and discover how their work could potentially transfer to other markets. So that's a big part of why we're doing these sessions and why we're so excited to have viewers watching us from around the world. We know we have viewing parties today, both here at Impact Hub Seattle and at our Impact Hubs in Barcelona, Boulder, Dubai, Oaxaca, Rotterdam, Salt Lake City, and Westminster. We're very excited to have all of you with us and hope you'll participate throughout the call by using the question and answer function on the event page. If you're tuning in from anywhere else, please let us know and we'll be happy to give you a shout out. You can also connect with us at any point during the call through Twitter. Our handle is @ImpactOnAir, and you can also use the hashtag ImpactOnAir. We'll be following those throughout the call and afterwards. So I think it's time to get started. First, I'd like to introduce our two members of our expert panel, starting with Leti Gasca from Mexico City. She is a social entrepreneur herself and an expert in helping others navigate failure. She also has a communications firm that works across Latin America. Good morning, Leticia.
Good morning.
And we also have Elisabeth Burgess, who's an expert in poverty alleviation. She's worked in microfinance, economic development, and other aspects of development in 16 countries. So we're excited to have her this morning. Hi, Elisabeth.
Good morning. Very happy to be here.
Great. So we are going to kick off this morning with David from Agua Piedra Mezcal, operating in Oaxaca, Mexico. So, David, it's your turn. We'll let you take it away.
Hola a todos. Hola, Oaxaca. Hi to everyone. It's a pleasure for me being here. Thanks for the chance, Candace, Jack. And well, thank you to everyone for being this morning. I started this project the last year with the idea to make this little blue point in the universe a better place to live. And Mexico, it's a beautiful place, and for me, Oaxaca, it's the soul of Mexico. But like many things in the world are imperfect. Oaxaca is the third most pure state in Mexico, and we try to change that through the business. We believe in the business like a way for make happy to the people involved with us. And let me explain a little bit of what we do in Agua Piedra Mezcal. I'm gonna show you a small presentation, and I'm gonna explain everything about the Agua Piedra. Can you see the presentation now? Okay. Well, if you're not Mexican, probably you don't know what is the mezcal, but probably you've heard about the tequila. Well, the tequila is a kind of mezcal, just from another region and with another kind of agave. So the mezcal is an alcoholic drink made from the maguey plant, the maguey or agave. It's the same. Uh, in Oaxaca, we have a regarding to drink para todo mal mezcal y para todo bien, which means for everything bad mezcal and for everything good the same. It's a delicious drink, so smoky and with many properties. So, who made Agua Piedra Mezcal? We believe in the traditions, in the love of the production. We work with small communities in the South Mountains of Oaxaca. We work with San Bartolo Yautepec, a small population in the South Mountains of Oaxaca. Uh, we work with a master mezcalillero. He's a passionate man. He's Don Jose Sabino. And we produce mezcal in small and unique editions. And this edition is totally different to another edition. And oh my God, let me check my notes. Well, Don Jose Sabino is the third generation of master mezcaleros in her family, and well, even he talked to the agaves for make happy to the plants and produce the happiest mezcal in the world. So how we make your mezcal? We're still using the traditional methods of production that have been passing down generation to generation. The agave grows for 8 years. Then the process begins by harvesting the plants and cutting the roots. The piñas are cooked in ovens under the earth and covered with rocks.
David, I don't want to interrupt you. This is Candace, but we're really interested to see your slides. So there we go. Great.
Okay. Okay, can you see the slide? Okay. I'm going to continue. Just a second, please. So, well, we made the mezcal in the traditional way. Well, the piñas are crushed and mashed, and then ferment in barrels for 5 days, and then it's distilled for 2 days, 2 times in clay or copper pots. Sorry. Well, this is our favorite part of our brand. The mezcal makes you happy, but also you can make more happy. You can be more happy because we use part of the money in cultural and educative projects with the community who produce Agua Piedra. In collaboration with Short Film Festival, we are working in the creation of traveling in the club for the kids, showing movies for their age. The last week, in collaboration with Sabra Dios and a Mezcal Boutique in Mexico City and the Univas, a university in Oaxaca, we travel with a mobile theater and show to the kids a little bit of another ways to see the world. We believe in that because when the kids can see a different world in each film, they can create a personal vision of the life. And in December, we are planning short courses for the kids. And I'm going to show you the video of this cine club. You're going to see the first, and you're going to be the first and see it and enjoy it.
All right, David, we can see the video.
Yeah, you're seeing the video?
You'll need to change your screen share.
Okay, sorry.
That's okay.
Just a second. So, okay. I'm gonna start again. You're gonna see the first and enjoy it. Sorry. Um, okay, that's our last word. And well, this is our bottle. The blowing is handmade and all that. And you're helping to the nature too because our supplier of the bottles, Studio Shakiche, produced the mezcal bottle with 16% of clean energy and with recycled glass. So the mezcal is organic, the labels are made with natural paper, and the bottle. Also, we have our social programs, and we work with Feastly, and we offer special dinners in Mexico and in the US. And well, I think that's all. I think that's my time. Thank
Yes. Okay. Well, thank you so much, David. I think it's great. You're running an enterprise that sounds like it's doing a lot of things at once, working through economic development and trade, working through film, supporting other enterprises that are focused on sustainability. So we're excited to hear more about that through question and answer. I want to turn it over first to Elisabeth to see if she has any questions for you. Elisabeth?
Hi, well, David, thank you so much. I had never heard of mezcal until I moved to Mexico, and I love mezcal. I think it's better than tequila, and I hope that you are really successful in exporting it all over. I'd love to try your brand. So I guess I have a couple questions. The first is I love the work that you're doing with children, and I'm wondering how you identified the need for this particular intervention. It sounds like you're focusing on kind of educating children through extracurricular fun, kind of music and theater programming, and I'd love to hear how you decided to use that particular intervention when I'm sure you had many choices. And then my second question is, how are you monitoring the impact that you're making? Are you following these children and accompanying them over time? Are you able to see how this is leading to any changes in their lives?
Okay. Well, the first question, I decided work with these kind of programs because I believe in I love the films. I've been working in some films, and I think that the movies can show to the kids another visions. And when the kids see a lot of different visions of the world, they can create a personal vision of the life. So I think that's the most important thing in this part. And I believe in the movies too, like a way to find himself in the other. You know, I don't know what's the word in English, but in Spanish is la otredad. Find yourself in another person, and we try to do that in the movies. So I don't remember the second question. Can you tell me again the second question?
Of course. My second question is, how are you monitoring or evaluating the impact that you're making? Are you currently doing that, or do you have some plans to monitor how effective your program is in the lives of these children?
Okay. Yeah. Well, we work in a very responsible way in the economic line, for saying some way. We work in contact all the time with the community, and we pay the correct price for the mezcal in only one exhibition. The kids, when okay, I don't know how can explain that, but really I don't know how can explain.
David, that's okay. I think it's a great question, and one of the reasons we have a diversity of experts on these calls is to help you guys who've already started something really fantastic think about what you might need to take it to the next level. So maybe that's a conversation we can continue later in the call or after the call, talking about ways we can support each other and help you measure the impact that you're having and communicate it to people who might want to support you around the world. We are actually out of time for Agua Piedra Mezcal for now. So we'll be moving now to Bogota, Colombia, to hear from Tomas Gonzalez about Minkay.
Okay.
Tomas, you are up.
Thank you.
Hi, can you hear me well?
Yep.
Great. So I'm gonna show you a presentation. Okay. So many people cares about what do you see when what you see when you watch that image. We in Minkay actually don't care much about that, but we care about what you see when you see this image. Because we, among many things, see a huge potential of wealth that's not being utilized because of a lack of coordination, a lack of social cohesion. And that's what inspired us to start developing Minkay. Minkay is a space where people can connect with their neighbors to offer and receive favors in the context in which activities have value according to the time they take. So our purpose is to facilitate the connection between neighbors and strengthen the sense of community. In more technical words, we would say that we work on improving the levels of social cohesion and social capital. We now have discovered that we are part of a new trend that's named neighborhood graphs by Kim Rose from Google Ventures, and well, that's our focus: strengthening the relationship between community members. We didn't invent the system. We saw something that's going on around the world for some years now. That's called time banking. In Spain, nowadays, there are more than 650 time banks. In the US and the UK, there are more than 300 time banks. And we got very inspired by a particular experience from Chile, where government established two community buildings. For one of them, people pay. They got a subsidy from the government, but they pay. And in the other building, people got their houses for free. So the relationship between people living in these two buildings was not good. A lot of judgments were made between themselves. They didn't trust themselves, and they started to. They had a lot of problems. So once an NGO decided to start a time bank between these two buildings. So people start sharing their problems and at the same time sharing what they could offer. And the first thing that got momentum was childcare, because women realized that no matter where they lived, they had the same problem. They couldn't work because because they didn't have anyone to take care of their children. So they started to organize themselves within this system where they didn't need to pay their neighbor with money for taking care of their kid, but they pay with their time. So they got a concrete economic benefit, but at the same time they started realizing that no matter where they live, they couldn't help themselves, and they shared the same problems. So the community started to change, and we asked.
Tomas, I think we lost your audio. The visuals are great, but So Tomas, can you hear me? Okay, I think we're working on the microphone. In the meantime, I'm going to post to the, should show up both on the YouTube video and the event page. I just want to post the link for Minkay.org so that anyone who's interested in checking that out after the call can do so. You'll be able to register and, well, to learn more. It's all in Spanish for now. I'm very curious, Tomas, to hear if you're planning to expand to other languages.
Yes.
It looks like you're back on, so let me turn it over to you again for just a minute, and then we'll go to questions.
Okay, great. So can you hear me well?
Yes. We've got just a few seconds left before we need to switch to questions. So
Okay.
do let us know if there's anything you want Hub members and viewers around the world to know.
Yeah, so well, I'm gonna skip some slides that I had just to emphasize what I was saying. The idea of Minkay is, in one hand, to increase consumption possibilities, but at the end, to increase the amount of interactions between people to strengthen the community bonding, see, the social cohesion. So that's our platform that we are launching in 1 month in Spanish, but we wanna, so I mean, we wanna like scale the project globally. The project uses like a website and also has some functionalities working from dump phones. So people register with their cell phone number and can transfer credits to other users through SMS technology.
Fantastic. Great, thank you, Tomas. That's all great, and it's exciting to hear too about mobile applications for your enterprise, which we know are really critically important, particularly in areas where poverty is a concern. So that's exciting. I'm going to turn it over in just a second to Leti for questions, but just a couple of things first. Turns out we missed a couple of places who are logging in as viewing parties. We're really excited to see that we've got people from Berlin and from Moscow, which is a brand new hub. So that's great. And hopefully everyone who's watching this has the YouTube link. Apologies for the trouble we had with the Google Hangouts page. However, if you have questions, please submit them to the Hangouts page. We will be monitoring that and pulling those up throughout the call. So in the meantime, I'm going to turn it over to Leti.
Thanks a lot. Tomas, congratulations. What you're doing is really awesome. I have two quick questions. The first one is about the business model. I'd love to learn more about it. Particularly, I mean, who is your crowd? Who is your client? Are you charging to the neighbors or to the local government? And the second one is about the expansion. How do you see yourself in 1 year? How many cities?
Okay, so about the business model, we are currently evaluating different alternatives. Now we are working with the support of Social Lab, which is a social business incubator that it's an spin-off from Techo. We got their support. We were thinking on a business model based on a user's subscription model, uh, where we charged a really small amount of money to each user, like monthly, from their mobile account bill. But now we are trying to move to a different direction. We are exploring some alternatives with local government or a national government where they pay us according to the amount of hours exchanged by users, and also other alternatives on the big data industry. So we're working a lot on that, and if you would like to have a deep talk, I would be more than happy to get feedbacks and explain you a bit further what we are doing. Our plan for expansion is here in Colombia. We wanna be present in the full. Sorry, I'm gonna refresh. The government is giving social housings for free. The government in Colombia has a program called 100,000 houses for free, and they getting people that's victim of the guerrilla, uh, former guerrilla members and other people in poverty conditions living together. So we think that's gonna be very complicated in terms of social relationships. So we are working with the government to scale Minkay after the pilot. That's what we are doing now to these 100,000 houses. And at the same time, we want to scale the project to the youth market because we understand that youth is very friendly to this kind of sharing economy and digital ventures. And because if we have youth as active members of the platform, and we can make them share with people from underserved communities, we will generate a big impact in terms of quality, because a hairdresser from a poor community won't need to work 50 hours to pay a lawyer, but only an hour, because 1 hour of a hairdresser is equal to an hour of a lawyer in this system that we understand as a complement for people's common.
Great. Thank you so much, Tomas. It's a really exciting thing that you're doing. It's actually quite radical in a lot of ways, in a really positive way, really raising up everyone as equal with whatever contribution they can make with their time. I think we'll be really interested to continue this discussion after the next presentation and talk about some of the challenges of taking these really amazing things that that you're doing, innovations to help build social cohesion and figure out how to make them financially sustainable. We definitely want to see that happen for you and for your project. So thank you so much for sharing that with us.
May just a last comment.
Yeah.
For the Impact Hub network. So I think the support, the biggest support I see is in two areas. One, we want to build a global network of local ambassadors. So I think everyone around the network that's interested, please approach me. We want the project working like all around the world. And the other is investment for scaling up the project after the pilot that we are running now.
Great. Great. Thank you so much. Sorry, thank you for sharing that. And yeah, hopefully we'll get to continue talking about that. And for those viewers who are tuned in, You do have the Twitter handles and websites of all of our participants, but if you'd like to reach out personally, do not hesitate to reach out to us at impactonair@gmail.com, and we'll be glad to connect you with any of the entrepreneurs that are presenting their ideas today. We'd love to see connections come out of this. We've already heard of that happening with some of our previous sessions. So we are definitely here to support all of you in connecting with each other in the network. So now I'm excited to bring up Josefina and Constantine, who will be presenting also from Mexico, from Yucatan, and I think simultaneously from Philadelphia about Hammock Boutique. So Josefina, I'll turn it over to you.
Great. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you. We're honored to be among this great group of people. Constantino and I are from the other top 3 poorest state in Mexico, Yucatan, so right on there with our other colleague. And Tomas, by the way, I love the hammock in the background where you are. So let me get started here. Quickly, Candace, I don't know if you want to turn it over to Constantino real quick so he introduced himself. He's my business partner and also the co-founder of this great enterprise, and we're excited to share more about it in a moment. Cons? Can we hear him? No? Oh, I can't hear you either, Candace.
Sorry, we don't have audio for Constantino, but the mic is unmuted, so okay. We'll see. Maybe we can just go to the presentation, and if he manages to kick in, we'll turn it over.
Sounds good. Here we go. Can you see full screen now?
It's good, yeah.
Great. So Constantino and I are the co-founders of Hammock Boutique. It's a small family company. We were born and raised in the Yucatan. And I used to work as an investment banker, but I was looking for a more fulfilling way of life and also a way to connect back to my roots. The main key of our project is that it focuses at breaking the intergenerational poverty cycle of the Mayan communities in the Yucatan. As background, hammocks have been weaving in the Yucatan for many centuries. We started with one family. Today, we are proud to say that we have 500 families in our network. We sell about 70,000 units a year, and we export them to all continents. As you all know, the indigenous communities in Mexico, like around the Americas, has historically been marginalized. We had always been big on giving back to the communities that wove our hammocks, but we were giving back in the form of consumable goods, and so we quickly realized that once those were consumed, obviously, there was nothing left. So we started wondering, how could we permanently change this vicious cycle of poverty in the Mayan communities where we grew up? So we gave ourselves to the task of interviewing 200 of our weavers, and found that through Hammock Boutique, we were actually having the desired social effects of economic stability, increased time spent with family. We pay higher wages than the national average, but that wasn't still enough. So how can we change the next generation of our communities? So we decided that we needed to launch a Cielo Foundation. And we are pledging 10% of our sales to fund programs that will bring about change to the community. We believe that mainly through education, we can make that change. And if you see in the image, we sent this summer 4 interns to work in the communities where our weavers live, and we had a great response, and with little money, we were able to achieve great success. We had a very welcoming attitude from the community, and I will tell you a little bit more about what our interns did over the summer. Basically, our model is an integrated system of economic development. So the for-profit institution, which is Hammock Boutique, employs them and also pledges a percentage of sales to fund the nonprofit. And this summer, we were able to fund pilot programs in education, health, community organization, and women empowerment. Our concept, the SHEET Network, stands for Sustainable, holistic empowerment network. The sustainability comes from running, obviously, a profitable business or hammock business. The holistic part comes from integrated approach of not limiting ourselves to provide just jobs, but also act in other ways and aspects that will improve their overall living conditions. The empowerment comes from the economic independence that results from being lifted out of poverty. And the network represents the institutions that make this impact possible, as well as each family of weavers in the community where they live. This fully integrated model creates a symbiotic relationship where we mutually benefit from improving living conditions of our weavers. As we grow the business, we're able to include more families in our network. As I mentioned, we started with 1. Today we have 500 families. This way, we can sustainably increase the funds that will impact holistically our target populations, resulting in their empowerment. So with our great gals, and I get back to them, Texas A&M, Georgetown University, and GW, we sent them down to Mexico. They spent 2 months down there, and the results were tremendous. We got great impact around programs on health. We deloused kids. We brought doctors to do general checkups. We did workout classes. We organized a mentorship program for the teenagers, and we're very, very excited about the possibilities that with more funds we'll be able to achieve with the program. Now, talking a little bit about our future, we are now planning on increase our production. We are starting to sell our hammocks through Lowe's.com, and we're planning to be in store soon. We were also certified as a B Corp, and we'll be announcing that in the next coming weeks. And with that, I will leave it up for questions anyone may have for me or Constantine. And we're very excited to be again part of this. And Candace, back to you.
Thank you so much, Josefina. It's really exciting to see so many people actually investing in their own communities across the board with our presenters today. And it's really exciting as well to see that you're already at the stage of B Corporation and with founding Cielo Foundation. So congratulations to you on those huge milestones. I'm going to ask Elisabeth to start off our discussion with the first question for you. And then just a note to all of our viewers, we're trying something a little different today. We wanted to leave room at the end for a discussion among all of us about what's happening in poverty alleviation. So if you're interested in anything in this area, not just questions for our enterprises, but just generally about what's happening in this space, or you want to share your experiences, please submit those questions at any time through the event page. So on that note, I'm going to turn it over to Elisabeth for questions about Hammock Boutique.
Great. Well, Josefina, your hammocks are beautiful, and I think I'm going to go online and buy one. Having lived here in Mexico, I've learned to love hammocks, so I want to bring one back with me when I go to the U.S. And congratulations on your tremendous growth and the important work you're doing for your employees and their families. I guess I wanted to ask you specifically about the for-profit part of your business. Can you tell me a little bit about the impacts you've seen on your employees? And specifically, are they employees? Do they have a contract, or are you paying them on a per hammock basis? And if so, is their income stream regular? And I guess I ask these questions because I know one of the biggest problems I've seen around the world with poverty is not just that poor people have small incomes, but also that oftentimes their income is irregular or unpredictable. And I'm wondering if you've been able to insert yourselves in this economy and provide some more predictability, and if that's changing, how you're seeing that change people's lives.
Absolutely, great question. In order to get this certification, we actually went through a very extensive research, and we went back and asked families and asked over time what has been the difference. And we saw in the statistic results that there is a correlation between being the longer they have been with us, working as a part of our network, the more satisfied they felt, the more stability in their economic and financially they felt, and they were actually more productive. So they realized that there was this stream of funds that was coming to them if they produced a hammock, because we pay per product, finished product. So they're able, we hand them the yarn, so there's no investment on their part. They weave them from home at their spare time, and funny enough, most of the time is in front of the TV watching a soap opera. And when they're done weaving, we collect the hammock, bring it back to the store, do quality control, pack it, and ship it. So it's really up to them how many hammocks they want to weave. And some families see this as their actual job, and there are several members of the family, that's all they do. Some others, this is just an extra income that they're able to get if they weave a hammock. And so we have seen that correlation. They realize that this is a stable stream of funds that comes to them. And because of that, they have over time produced more. They know that we pay more than an alternative way of selling a hammock that they were to weave. And so they stick with us, and that's why we started with one family, and today we're proud to say we have 500. And as we grow the business, we are always looking for more hands who want to come and weave with us. We actually don't have anything formal. Is if you want to weave, join. Here's the yarn, and this is the hammock type we want or need, and that's how the whole relationship works. And I think what we're most proud is that we're able to create now a connection at a different level, because employing them is not enough. They have this amazing trade that is passed on generation by generation, because that's what hammock weaving represents in the Yucatan. But the schooling is bad. The government schooling out there is not quality enough. Even if they were to finish, they're not going to be accepted at university. So our goal here is clearly providing them with a job, stable income is not enough. How can I change the culture and teach them the importance of their kids attending high school and college? And pregnancy rates are very high. How can I come and have some, programs that will teach them about sexuality and avoid this high dropout of schooling in high school, if we can. So we realize that we need to work with them in other aspects, and that's the only way we can achieve sustainable change in the community. We want them to have an option. It's great that they weave hammocks. It's a beautiful trade, but they should have options, and that's what we're aiming at changing.
Great. Thank you, Josefina, for that answer. We do have another minute on your section, so I'm going to ask Leti if she has any questions for you.
Yeah, microphone. Congratulations again. I just wanted to ask you, which is your next big goal?
It's very, very good question. My next big goal is to be in all the big boxes in the United States. Big boxes are Lowe's, Home Depot, Walmart, Target, all of those big names. That is our next step. And we're working towards being able to increase our production, but also be able to comply with the standards that these big retailers demand of our process. And so that's where our project is on. We also have plans to build a community center, and that's another key project that we have. This summer we used all the facilities from the municipalities, and the local governments were great working with us, but we feel like we need an actual community center so we can run all our programs and have somebody full-time running the nonprofit.
Congratulations, that's awesome.
Thank you.
Great. Well, thank you, Josefina. I actually think we're going to kick off a group discussion now. And I think that Leti's question is really an interesting one to apply to the other ventures on this call. So Tomas, David, I don't know if either of you is prepared to answer that, but it would be great to hear from each of you what your next big step or goal is for Agua Piedra Mezcal and Minkay, respectively. Let's see, Tomas?
Okay, for us, the next steps are partnering up with the government for implementing Minkay in all the community housings that they are building. our goal for the next year is to have, as I told you, 100,000 um, people sign up in that market. And in the other hand, to scale up Minkay more internationally by establishing this network of local ambassadors.
And how many of those local ambassadors do you have already? Is that part of your rollout plan, or?
Now, and for the next 3 months, we are running the pilot. The pilot is focused on 3 communities associated with the Techo Foundation, Un Techo para mi país, that's present in the whole region. And so we are observing how people's interaction actually work here in Colombia, and developing our framework for monitoring and evaluation the impact of the project.
Thanks. David, what about you?
Well, the next step for Agua Piedra is the next year we're going to start operations in the US, in Amsterdam, and in Tokyo. So we're growing up. In September, we are going to be on the Chicago Innovation Awards. We are nominated in the social innovation category. And we're going to offer more Feastly dinners in the US. We are planning now a new Feastly dinner in Chicago, in New York, and probably we're going to planning one in Los Angeles. And the idea of Agua Piedra is reply these social programs in many communities. We work now with San Bartolo Yautepec, but the idea is work in many communities. Oaxaca is the state who produces more mezcal in Mexico. In Mexico, 8 states can have the nomination for mezcal, and the idea is work in more and more places and reply the programs. And that's all. Thank you.
Great, thanks. Yeah, it's really exciting to hear about what you guys are planning, to do, and how you want to roll this out. I think there's some commonalities across your enterprises. Obviously, you're all at different stages and approaching poverty in different ways. But I thought it might be useful to go back to Elisabeth's earlier question about how we're measuring impact. And maybe, Elisabeth, I'll ask you to just say a couple of words on why you think that's important for a social enterprise to be focusing on. And then I would love to just kind of open it up for more of a discussion on what you guys have learned through your enterprises about which activities make the biggest impact on poverty alleviation. Is that all right with you, Elisabeth?
Sure, Candace. Yeah, the reason I ask about monitoring impact and then evaluating impact is I think that around the world, a lot of social enterprises start with a great idea, but then fail to deliver the impact because maybe they haven't identified the root problem properly. And it sounds like your organizations have really done a lot of research. You've talked with the people you're working with, and you have a really good idea about what kind of changes you want to see in these communities. And so I think there are maybe some important trends going on right now in the area of poverty alleviation. One is this notion of participatory design, where you design an anti-poverty intervention or program by involving the beneficiaries or participants in the process of designing what you're going to be doing. And I think that's one innovation. I'm curious, to what degree you are working with the beneficiaries of these programs to identify what you're going to give them, and then following through to monitor whether or not these programs are making a difference in their lives. And I think sometimes we're surprised about where certain poverty alleviation programs make a difference, maybe where we weren't expecting. And so doing rigorous evaluations can be important to, first of all, to make sure we are making a difference, and then also to see if maybe we're making a difference in an area that surprises us.
Great. Thank you for that question. Tomas, if it's okay with you, I'll have you go next. I know you did quite a bit of research in setting up your enterprise. Maybe you can talk about what you found from that research was so compelling about community connections for alleviating poverty, and how you think Minkay can measure the impact of those connections going forward. Is it just hours exchanged, and that's how we're measuring connections, or do you have some procedures in place to measure, say, where those connections are taking place geographically or across neighborhoods and sectors and so on? Let me turn it over to you.
Okay. So we are working on, in fact, with students from the CIPA, the University of Colombia in New York. Our theory of change is that by increasing interactions among people, we strengthen and we develop empathy, and by developing empathy, we increase the levels of trust and collaboration. So what we are looking at is quantitative indicators from people's interaction on the platform, and also we are running a survey about perceptions on collaboration and security among community members. So before starting the pilot, we raised like a baseline, and that's what we are like monitoring every 3 months on the same community to measure how are the feelings of the people changing regarding trust, collaboration, security within their neighborhoods. Of course, we are generating some economic indicators from time exchange, because we think we can measure the value of each hour. So we can say what's the amount of wealth created by the platform. So this is a mix. This is a mixed evaluation from quantitative and qualitative indicators.
Great. Thanks, Tomas, for sharing that. I think that'll be insightful for any of us working on social enterprises to think about how we can use a combination of indicators to make a convincing case for why what we're doing is so important. David, I want to give you a chance to answer the same question. You know, you've certainly got a great storytelling platform with the films, and you know, it looks like you're doing great work with the children in Oaxaca in particular. But if you can talk about maybe if you don't have those things in place to measure the impact, how you might think about doing that moving forward.
My audio is horrible. Can you type the question, please?
Sure. Okay, it looks like I'll do the question in a second, and Josefina, maybe we'll let you answer this while we wait for the audio to catch up with David.
Sure. So for us, we measured the historical impact that we had, and so the other important thing for us in this case was to establish a baseline. So where are we starting at? And we figured out statistics such as, you know, the dropout at high school and junior high, or the education levels in the population, and what their most pressing needs were identified by themselves, because we asked them directly. And so based on that, we have made projections of what our reasonable and achievable goals would be in the next 2, 3, and 5 years. And we're going to then measure ourselves against that. And very, very specific in terms of what number of programs we plan to achieve, number of graduates we expect to have from either high school or undergrad, and along with that, different statistics also on healthcare, women empowerment, and community organization, which are the kind of key pillars that we've seen where we can have a meaningful impact in the communities.
Great. Thanks, Josefina. That's very clear. So, David, I think we have the question now via group chat. I would love to just hear about how you're thinking about monitoring the impact of your film programs and other programs on the kids in Oaxaca.
Yeah. Well, we are just starting this. At this moment, we are in the pilot programs, but the kids are showing us. I don't know how to explain. Happiness. I don't have numbers exactly. We are starting with all this part of the project, but the kids are happy, and the kids try looking for projection every month, and well, we started with just a few kids, and in our last projection we had about 30 kids in one projection. So and how can we change the life of the kids? I think in the personal way, I don't know how can take a scale of how can we are making better their lives. I mean, I think it's so. It's hard to say. I can't explain because it's so personal for the kids. We don't have numbers of how can a movie change the life of a kid.
Yeah,
So,
it's interesting, David. I think you know, most of us move into what we're doing because we get it, and we see naturally that there's a need in a community, and we see the impact that this work can have on their lives. And it's a huge challenge for any nonprofit, any social enterprise, to move from there to making a really compelling case for people who don't know the situation as well, and helping them understand how they can support. But I'm sure there are a lot of people on this call who are interested in supporting the work that you guys are doing moving forward in all three of these areas. I would love to give, as we're wrapping up here, I would love to give everyone a chance to make a few just final statements, last words, insights from this session, or things that you want to communicate to our viewers, and then we'll go to the experts, and that'll be it. So let's go from right to left on my screen. Tomas, we'll start with you. Any last words for this session?
Yeah, thank you. For the last 30 years, the World Bank Organization and many other researchers have been making efforts on taking to action the concepts of social capital and social cohesion. We really believe that by opening a space where people can connect with their neighbors and take advantage of their free time and their skills, we will make an impact. So for everyone interested, please write me to tomas@minkay.org. And thank you for watching this hangout. Thank you for the space.
Thanks, Tomas. Josefina?
Hi, thank you everybody for this viewing. We're excited to be here, and if you want to be part of our project, reach us at cielo-foundation.org or hammockboutique.com.
Great, and the links, by the way, for Minkay, for Hammock Boutique, and for Agua Piedra are also on our event page. David, any last words?
no, just thank you. We are so excited, and we're happy for have this chance, and if you wanna still in contact with us, you can check www.aguapiedramezcal.com and keep in touch with us. Thank you.
Great. Leti, any final comments from you?
Yeah, I just wanted to tell you that I think that it's really brave what you are doing. I had another social enterprise about 10 years ago that failed, and I know that when you're struggling with things, you know that it's even worse to fail in social enterprise than in the traditional ones, because you are failing to the communities you were supposed to be serving. And I love to see your passion and your commitment. And I think that it will not be your case. It has been an honor to be part of this awesome hangout.
Thank you. All right, Elisabeth, any last words from you? We can't see you, but we can hear you.
Great. Well, just congratulations to everybody. Felicidades in Spanish. And I guess I'll just finish by saying that it seems like the work you're doing is really good. And I think for any organization focused on a social or impact on poverty alleviation, it's no longer enough to actually do the work. You really have to tell the story, and telling the story means monitoring and evaluating the impact you're having, and then putting out numbers and results and sharing that with investors and customers. And it sounds like all of you are doing excellent work and really moving towards telling that story in a very compelling way. So thank you and congratulations.
And thanks again to every single one of you for participating. It's been really exciting. We're just over halfway through this series, and it's been so much fun to just see what is inspiring people around the world through the Impact Hub Network and elsewhere, and start seeing some of these commonalities with what we're all trying to do. So I hope we'll all be able to help each other out moving forward. One way you can do that is by tuning into our next Impact on Air session, which is exactly 2 weeks from now. We'll be looking at organizations that are working to increase equality and justice. So that'll be a really interesting session. Check back to the Impact on Air page and our Twitter account for more information today. And in closing, we just want to say thank you again to all of our viewers around the world. It's been fantastic having you with us today. Please stay in touch, and we hope to see all of you again soon.
Thank you, Candace.
Thank you.
Thank you, Candace.
Adiós, abrazos.
Adios, everyone.